Do you remember in class when we went over the types of claims? There are three types of claims. The first is a claim of fact. And in a claim of fact, you are focusing on whether something is or is not true, or whether something will or will not happen. An example of a claim of fact is a woman president will be elected in the next U.S. presidential election. Another example is global warming is causing more extreme weather patterns. So again, these are two claims that state whether something will or will not happen, or is not true. The next claim is a claim of value. A claim of value addresses issues of judgment. It's where you try to show whether something is wrong or right, good or bad, or wrong or worthy or unworthy. Examples of claim of values are, is any painting worth $1 million? Or the example, is assisted suicide ethical? Again, trying to show whether something is wrong or right, good or bad, worthy or unworthy. And then lastly, the claim of policy. Which recommends that a specific course of action be taken or approved. An example of a claim of policy is, we should pass a law restricting the use of handguns. Or, abortion should be made illegal. These are both claims of policy. They recommend a specific course of action be taken or approved. And remember that your claim answers the question, what are you trying to prove? So these are three different types of claims. With that said, there is a different organization pattern for each of these types of claims. So the way in which you organize your speech, or the way in which you write your speech, is determined by which claim you choose. So whether it's a claim of fact, a claim of value, or a claim of policy, those are three different types of organization patterns or writing patterns in which you will write your speech, depending on which claim you choose. Let's talk about some of those organization or writing patterns. Okay, in talking about the different organizational patterns, I have our textbook out. I'm in chapter 24, which is where all of the information that I've mentioned thus far, including claims, evidence, warrants, counter evidence, and organizational patterns of various claims can be found. All of the information I'm sharing can be found in your textbook, chapter 24. With that being said, I'm in chapter 24. I'm under the tab that says Problem Solution Pattern of Arrangement. This is an organizational pattern that can be used for certain speech to persuade claims. Let's talk about more about problem solution patterns. Okay, this is a commonly used patterns for persuasive speeches, and oftentimes it's used for claims of policy. So if you find yourself doing a claim of policy, this will be a great organizational pattern for you as you write your speech. Again, a claim of policy recommends that a specific course of action be taken or approved. So this is fantastic for that. And here you organize your speech points to demonstrate the nature and significance of a problem and then provide a solution. All right, so that's a problem solution pattern of arrangement. And if you're doing a claim of policy, this would be a great organizational pattern for you. And you can find this in your book. They tell you more about how to write a problem solution speech. The next is a comparative advantage pattern of arrangement. The comparative advantage pattern of arrangement is most effective when your audience is already aware of the issue or problem and agrees that there is a need for a solution. So, for instance, they give an example here about how to control the deer population. So normally, this speech pattern is when there's a problem that your audience is aware of, and there are a number of different solutions. However, you're giving what you believe to be the best solution. So, in this case, if you're giving the best solution, this will be a great time to do the organization pattern of comparative advantage pattern. And again, right under it, it tells you more about this particular comparative advantage pattern and how to write it. The next pattern is Monroe's motivated sequence. This is a 5-step sequence that begins with arousing your listener's attention and ends with a call to action. So this pattern is particularly effective when you want the audience to do something, buy a product, donate to a cause, and so forth. Recycle, things of that nature. And obviously right under it is how you would go about writing this organizational pattern. The next pattern is a refutation pattern of arrangement. A refutation pattern addresses each main point and then refutes an opposing claim to your position. This pattern can effectively address counter arguments. Refutations may influence audience members who either disagree with you or are conflicted about where they stand. So this would be really good if most people in your audience would disagree with your claim. And if you're trying to convince them to now agree with your claim. Now, beware. If you decide to do the refutation pattern, it is important to refute based on strong evidence and not weak evidence, okay? Consider this pattern if you are confident about your opposing argument. So here are how to do that. They provide you examples of how to follow that particular pattern. And then as you continue to scroll down in the chapter 24, they give you samples of persuasive speeches. So again, to review, there are 3 types of claims. And again, claims answer the question, what are you trying to prove? So there are 3 different types of claims: claim of fact, claim of value, and claim of policy. And for each of those claims, there is a different organizational pattern in which you write your speech. And those are the patterns that I just went over. Enjoy writing.